get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down.
Hi.
Hey, good evening, Talkin Trashers. Welcome to the Channel 4 News at 8 o'clock. I'm your anchor, Colostomy. Today's top story, running into a stationary object can be painful, according to a recent poll.
Oh, James.
Good evening. My name is Jim, and I'm a very grateful alcoholic. Welcome to episode 142, and a special welcome to our recovery houses. We have New Hope, Liftoff, 360 Life, I believe you're new, Serenity Treatment, Lakewood, Oxford House in New Jersey,
Yep.
and the Lighthouse. So welcome, guys. Been there, and actually, I envy you guys. So Timmy and I, and we got two guests. We got Mikey Oxley, and we have JJ. He's got a great story for us tonight, so sit on back. And now to a man who once ordered a chicken and an egg online because he wanted to see which one would come first, Timmy Snyder.
I ordered it online. I get it. Oh, James. Hi, everybody,
Timmy.
and welcome to episode 142.
Where is everybody?
I don't know. Kaisa just came back from Canada, or she's on her way back from Canada. She spent a few days up there, up at the Regina Roundup. That's Jimmy. It sounded like it looked like a blast. I mean, you guys did your thing. What was it like?
Getting tired. It was tired. It was whirlwind. It seems like she just got off the plane. And
Yeah.
well, first of all, it was a great event. It was our 72nd, and the Roundup is basically a convention for our Regina and area groups. And this is my fourth year being involved in the committee, and this was the highest attendance ever.
Awesome.
And she had people standing ovation at the end, and at the very end, she got some pickles because she can no longer back to being a cucumber.
That's funny.
She's like,
Well, that's great. We'll look at some pictures and stuff in a little bit. Let's get through our preamble so we can start having some fun.
This is our humble broadcast where ethics and personal anonymity are of the utmost importance. We run this podcast as an act of service to those whose lives have been affected by addiction. We do not do it for profit or notoriety. We place principles before personalities. We benefit from this podcast just as much as anyone else. We all work programs and choose to sacrifice our own anonymity to spread the message that recovery is possible. We do this thing in an attempt to show as living examples that no matter how far down the scale we have gone, our experience can benefit others. Not only is that the 9th step promise, it's our creed we abide by here on Talkin Trash.
Please join us in a special moment of silence as we honor the American lives taken from us by the evil that runs in this world. Tonight, our moment of silence represents the still sick and suffering addict and our grieving nation. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
Yeah! Here we go now! 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 Yeah, baby! Here we go.
All right, we're doing a little thing here tonight, as we always do. We're looking like comebacks. I mean, if you're in recovery and you're rewriting your story and getting sober, you're making a comeback. So we're going to tie that in loosely as we always do. We're going to go around and meet the team to talk trash. Since we're here, let's see.
Who's first?
Jimmy Leibel. All right. Jimmy Leibel. He is our the only other ghost on here tonight.
There you go.
He He is 3 years clean and sobes.
Yes.
He's 61. He's got 2 girls. He's a sponsor. He's obviously involved in AA and all of that. And he's a widower of 12 years. I think I had that wrong. Why did I have that so wrong?
I don't know.
And why did you allow that to continue for as long as you did, James?
Because I'm Canadian and I'm very polite.
You are Canadian.
I will tie into that about being polite. So
you certainly are Canadian.
With the most recent visit of our other co-host, Kaisa, who usually says, huh? And excuse me, the word is pardon me.
That's
And
Jimmy
he's like,
Lyle.
F you, buddy.
We'll run right into Daily Refractions, Jimmy, because I want to get these guys on.
Alrighty then. Okay, kids, for September the 21st, the last promise. I will suddenly realize that God is doing for us what we could not do for ourselves. And that's from Alcoholics Anonymous, page 84. The last promise in the big book came true for me on my very first day of sobriety. God kept me sober that day, on every day that I followed him to operate in my life. He gives me the strength, courage, and guidance to meet my responsibilities in life, so that then I am able to reach out and help others stay sober and grow. He manifests within me, making me a channel of his word, thought, and deed. He works with my inner self while I produce in my outer world, for he will not do for me what I cannot do for myself. I must be willing to do his work so that he can function through me successfully. There you go, kids.
There you have it.
Let's contemplate about that refraction.
We have a very heavy spiritual show tonight. Not on purpose. It's just all the readings are, and it just kind of happens that way.
Well, now that I have a baby Jesus, she gave me a baby Jesus.
You got baby Jesus?
I
Oh
got
my
a baby
God!
Jesus. Oh, it's in the car. I left it in my
Let's
car.
meet the rest of the people. Kaisa B is en route to wherever she lives in Houston. She's 62. She's also involved in everything. Obviously, she just went to Canada to spread the message. She's just awesome. We love her so much, and we'll talk about everything on Wednesday. That's Kaisa, our girl, 5 years clean, rock and roll. I'm 2 years clean. I'm 42. I have 2 girls. I'm a mental health advocate. I seem to get in trouble. I do what I can. This podcast is important to my recovery.
Two beautiful young daughters.
2 beautiful girls. Absolutely right. And then Will, he's you know what? Will is
I think I know where he is.
That's right. Will is in his hot tub tonight, rather than being on the show. That's what I was disappointed about, was the hot tub thing. I couldn't do it as much if Will wasn't here. Yeah. Will's got 18 months clean and sobes. He's 42. He lives by me. He's delightfully charming, and he has a hot tub, believe it or not. Unbelievable. We love it. Yeah. So there's Will. That's our boy. He steals babies. And that's Will. We all have a good time. That's Willie. That's our squad. Half of us aren't here tonight, but that is okay. So we're gonna bring in early before we bring in our main guest, the guy we actually care about. We're gonna bring in Mike Oxley. To just kind of be with us for the first half of the show. Hey, Mike, welcome back to the program.
How are you? It's great
Good.
to see you guys on this glorious Eagles comeback day. How did you know?
My goodness. And what a comeback by the Eagles.
3rd and 2 to have it
unbelievable.
The
2 blocked field goals. And then
Cardi has it blocked.
It was a great game.
It's
Eagles are 3-0 now.
By the Eagles.
But let's look at what we talk about when we're saying comeback. The Eagles were down. How much were they down by today, Mike?
They were down 19 points going into midway of the 3rd quarter.
Yes, that's right. So they turned it on 3rd and 4th quarter.
They turned it on, baby.
And they block a field goal right at the end of the game to let's get ahead of that. Here it is. Devonta Smith touchdown for the win, for the lead, and then the real highlight what I'm trying to get to. Block.
Nice.
I got
a 350-pound man running it back,
and he runs it home. Unbelievable. So Birds win. Yippee-ki-yay. Yeah, right. He blocked it and took it back. He was
Yeah.
That
he
hurts,
wasn't having it.
actually.
Was a
He
big
wasn't
day.
having it.
If you've
It
ever
was
blocked a
big
field
day.
goal, it hurts.
I bet it
So-
does.
It's
Doesn't
like
look
getting
like
kicked
fun.
in the huevos.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a great time to be a Philadelphia fan. We have
It
the
is, right?
Phillies
What
getting
the
ready to start the
hell?
playoffs next week, and the National League champs, and the Eagles doing well. It's the perfect time. It's Red October here in the Delaware Valley, and I'm pumped for it. I
Red
feel good. I'm
October.
ready.
We're
Like my
assholes, by
head.
the way. By the way, Jimmy. Us Philly fans, we're not right. There's just something doesn't
Well,
click
hey,
up there.
it's okay.
But it is fun this time of the year. So,
Well, hey, the Riders
Also,
are 10
what?
and 3, so there you go.
all right,
But
there
we're
you go.
Hey,
Good for
Jim.
them.
Not to go back too far, but when is the vagina roundup again in Canada? Because I'd
it
like to
was,
come next year.
it's
It
next.
was
It was that
next September, the
next September.
73rd.
It's next September.
Yep.
Yes, it's usually the second week.
73rd Regina Roundup.
Yeah.
Well,
We don't
I'd like
have
to.
it when there's a football game because no one will show up because of all the Rider fans.
Okay.
Seriously,
Right.
it was a bye week, so that was fine. That's one of the reasons why we had. But main reason was we had a great speaker, and she just
A bi Regina convention.
she-
Okay,
she-
even better.
There you go.
Well, they love their Canadian football out there, and
We
I
got
don't get it.
Well,
There's
hockey, football, curling.
Doug Flutie.
well, yeah, Doug Flutie, sure.
Yeah.
So I was I was looking at comebacks. I just got the Eagles and all that stuff. So I looked up like some of the most amazing comebacks, and most of them are in my lifetime. Actually, all of them were.
Yeah.
And it's just you look back at it and you're like, holy shit! Like that's some crazy stuff.
That's
Let's
the
take
Red
a
Sox, right? Yeah.
Yep. That I was in rehab in Maine when this happened. My first rehab, I was 22 years old, whatever. I was in Maine, and this happened. And everybody in Maine are Boston fans. You know, there's nothing up there. And the next morning, there's nobody on the roads. And I look at my friend. I'm like, what the hell's going on? He's like, they're all still in front of their TVs with their mouths on the floor because the Red Sox pulled off a comeback against the Yankees during the 2004 ALCS. They were down 3-0 in the best of 7. The curse.
And they were filming a movie at the time.
Oh yeah, yep. Fever Pitch with
Yes.
with whatever his name is, the
Jimmy Fallon and
Jimmy Fallon,
who's the girl?
the cute
the wacky
one
girl.
from-
The ET girl, Drew Barrymore.
I Drew Barrymore. So they filmed. It was really cool. They came back 3-0 in the best 7 series to win 4 straight against the Yankees. What made the comeback even more amazing is the Red Sox went on to win the World Series in straight games against the St. Louis Cardinals, taking home their first championship since 1918. That was the Boston Red Sox, 2024. 2009, I remember this. Juan Martin Del Porto. He pulled off a comeback and beat Roger Federer. And that was a big comeback. Not that anybody knows what that means. The 2016 World Series, I know where I was when this one happened. 3-1. The Cubbies, they come back and they beat the Cleveland Guardians.
Right.
Winning 4 games. Just an unbelievable comeback there. This one is crazy. I had to look this one up. You don't go down 3-0 in soccer or football and come back. And in the UEFA Champions League final in 2005, Liverpool did just that. They went down 3-0 at the half, and it looked like their bid had ended. But a 7-minute blitz in the second half saw 3 goals scored by Liverpool and tied the game at the end of regulation. They tied it in stoppage time. It was insane.
That's why soccer's so boring, man.
Yeah,
Think
I
about it.
know.
If you've
It's-
ever been to a game in the UK,
Just
or
to
in
come
Europe,
back from
it's
3-0
insane.
is a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
Agree, Jimmy. I agree with you 100%. That UK soccer scene is outrageous over there.
You want to talk about
Yeah, there's more action in the
violence?
stands.
But I like I kind of I don't know. I envy them. They have all these towns and all these teams, and everybody loves whatever. Anyway, soccer's stupid. Super Bowl 51. We all remember
Yeah.
the Patriots coming back 28-3 in the third quarter against the Falcons. The people down here in Georgia are still like lamenting this one. Brady rallied with 17 minutes remaining to close a 25-point deficit and end the game regulation. The game was decided in overtime, where the Patriots prevailed, making it the largest comeback in Super Bowl history, as well as the first Super Bowl game to be decided in overtime. I forgot they changed that rule, right, Mike? They implemented
Yes.
that overtime rule. Yeah, that confused me when the Eagles won. Whatever. And this one, a little personal touch. This is one of the greatest times of my life, except they didn't win the Stanley Cup. They lost to the Blackhawks in the finals. However, getting to the Stanley Cup, first off, the Flyers got in as an 8 seed, beating the Rangers on the very last game of the season. So the Flyers come in, 8 seed, playing the 1 seed. They make it to the second round, and they're down 3-0 to the Bruins. It's over. You know, the people are packing it in. Nobody's come back from 3-0 in recent era, and the Flyers they 3-1, 3-2, 3-3. So they go to Boston. Here's the amazing part of this comeback: they go to Boston and they're down 3-0 like that. So they're down 3-0 in Game 7. The Flyers come back and win that game. And I saw it. I was at the Wachovia Center in Philadelphia watching it on the screen. That was the craziest experience I've ever. There was probably 16,000 people there. It wasn't packed, but it was full. And we're watching the game on the screen, and we watched Simone Gagne come back. And this is just a quick illustration.
And they live to fight another day again. Down 3-0. They force Game 7. Gagne scores, and it's the biggest goal of his season. A comeback of epic proportions comes complete.
Yes,
So
that's
what we're
very
gonna be
personal to you.
It is quite an
Well, to
unbelievable.
me, all they got to be was a freaking bridesmaid. You know,
Oh, stop it! Oh, stop it!
They didn't
So
get-
yes, the
they didn't get a honeymoon, baby.
no, they went and played the Blackhawks in the finals. But the point we're trying to drill home here is comeback stories are the stories you want to watch. They're put your rally caps on, get behind your team, get behind your person. Sports can be tied in a lot. We try not to do it on the show because it would be too easy. But I mean, we every one of us is a comeback story. And if you're in recovery, if you're in one of those chairs at our recovery centers, you're writing your story now. How that story ends, what the next chapters are, that's up to you. But you have a clean slate, and you have a chance to rewrite your story now. And we're going to bring somebody in who really is a living success as a comeback story. JJ's.
It doesn't mean come back to rehab 12 times.
No,
But
it
if
doesn't. They
But
will,
if
though.
that's what it has to be, that's okay too.
Right.
Whatever it takes.
But they will. But just a comeback. Being down 3-0, tying the series, then being down 3-0 again, tying the game 3, winning 4-3. The comebacks are what make us who we are. They
JJ.
define us. And our guy we're going to bring in here is we're going to do a daily reflection first. Oh, we did that, right, Jim?
We done that.
Yes.
We did that. All right. Let's bring our
Moving
boy
right
in.
along.
JJ coming in. Very excited to have him on. JJ is. Let's get some stats on our boy here. Coming. Special guest, JJ.
We see those two.
Go.
I'm trying. Okay.
There you go.
Sorry. So just a little intro here. JJ had a tough life. He was raised by his grandmother. Mother was an alcoholic. His father was murdered during a drug deal when he was just 6. At 13, he was selling pot. He spent the last 2 years of high school in a boys' home in Ashland, Kentucky. He decided to pack it up and hitchhike to California, which he did. He kicked 180 milligrams of methadone a day, which is a lot, I can tell you. And he did it cold turkey. Respect indeed. He lived on this for 2 years. Now he started a legal cannabis business. He's 45 and retired. He's loving his life, and he's got a story to share. He is a comeback, and let's bring him in here. JJ, what's happening, my man?
Hey, thank y'all so much. I appreciate you for
JJ.
having me.
Hey, JJ.
All right.
Appreciate
Our
you for
pleasure.
having me. I had to add one thing. I heard y'all talking about the comebacks. You can't forget about Marshall University. They came back.
Right.
They lost their whole team and
Yep.
still came back
That
the
is
next year.
We are
That's just-
Marshall.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's around my hometown. I was right across the bridge from Huntington, West Virginia, across from that
Oh,
college. So
No kidding. Well, that was
my
yeah,
brother
that was-
actually. Yeah, my brother graduated from there. He's a sports medicine. He teaches sports medicine.
No
And
kidding.
he was at Marshall when Randy Moss was there.
Oh,
Wow.
There you go.
That's crazy. So
Mhm.
your story it spans decades, and
Yep.
it really is a true comeback story from what I've grasped.
Yeah, it
Just
is.
unbelievable. Just hit us with it. The floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, like I said, it's I started 6 years old. My family, my dad's side of the family, was all into dealing large amounts of drugs.
Mm,
My father was killed when I was 6. I was raised up with my grandmother because my mother was an alcoholic. She was I guess, a functional alcoholic. She worked every day, but still
hmm
stayed completely just, kind of off
Yep.
of it the whole time.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But I got into the wrong crowd at a young age, probably 13, or actually maybe a little before, and started using and then started to sell after that
Mm,
up until I was about 16. When I turned 16, I was almost turning 16. It was right the month before my birthday, and I got arrested. Spent 2.5 years in a boys' home.
mm.
I thought I was going to get out when I was 18, but they were like, "No, you're going to graduate." And I was like, well, "I guess I got to then." So
There's
we
that.
graduated, and I sell gems and minerals. I've been dealing crystals for a while, so that helped me kind of on my hitchhiking journey. When I hitchhiked out here, I had more rocks in my backpack than I did clothes, so it
All
helped me
you're
right.
you're selling
to
crystals, not crystal meth, correct?
no, like
Yes.
Okay, just
crystals,
Just
just
I know,
myths.
regular
We got it.
regular
I know,
crystals.
I know.
But I'm also a goldsmith, silversmith. We make jewelry and do all kinds of stuff. But
Interesting.
we came out here. I came out to or hitchhiked from Kentucky to California because of Kentucky's laws. And like you said, I started off. Kentucky was the epicenter, like Kentucky, West Virginia. That area was the epicenter for where the pill epidemic started.
Oh yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
before we had to start going to Florida for the pill mills and stuff like that, like it was Kentucky.
Yep.
And then shortly after that, they started to lock down Kentucky, so everybody had to go to Florida.
Yeah.
And it was long about the time that they started locking down Florida and making the doctors to where you couldn't doctor shop no more or nothing, that I was I thought that I got on the methadone and was doing that, and I
So
just decided to leave.
I don't mean to interrupt. I don't usually early on,
Oh,
but
go ahead.
it's something you said just struck me. It sounds like are you a product of that Purdue Pharma OxyContin
I
era?
absolutely am. I went to
You
my
and me.
very first funeral when I was a freshman in high school for one of my classmates.
Yep. So we're similar in age, and we probably have a not a similar story, but drug wise, yeah. I mean, I got caught
Yeah,
up in that too. So just to preface, around that time, 2005, six, that whole area,
yeah.
2000s,
It started in
OxyContin.
98 for me. Like we started pretty much. I mean, I still remember. We were doing the 160s.
Mm-hmm. I
Um,
remember.
and
I used
that's
to listen to this one. I should be just getting out of jail now for this. I used to
Good
write
for
my own
you.
prescriptions for OxyContin back in 2001. I would have a Photoshop document. I'd print it out. I'd take it to the pharmacy. They give me OxyContin. It was, that would never fly now. Back then, you could
No.
pull that shit off, and
yeah, you
I
could.
would get 80, 180 milligram OxyContin. That's enough to kill up 10 horses. But I
Hmm.
digress. Just for context.
Yeah,
So,
no, it was bad. I mean, that whole I mean, I knew people that they were prescribing hundreds of milligrams a day to. They were giving them 80s and then the 40s and
yep,
then giving
they're
them like
non-addictive.
some. Yeah, they're not addicted. That was the
Yeah,
whole
right.
thing. Yeah, they're
That was the
not addictive.
craziest.
They're.
I know.
I was like, what is that? What do you mean? And then finally, when everybody figured out that they were super addictive, it was too
Yeah,
late.
yeah.
And
Absolutely.
It
then it went
it
to heroin, and then
it it
from
created a whole generation of addicts, is what it did.
it made a whole generation where I'm from disappear.
Yeah. Well,
Like
yeah.
I could probably count if I took my shoes off. If I could count that high, I'd probably be able to count. The 8 or 9 people that's left that I went to high school with.
It's
That were
crazy.
in my
It's
original class. There's
and
just
people.
not
So just
anybody
for
left
those,
anymore.
JJ, just for those that are watching us that are in a facility right now, you decided to, at what point, hop on a bus and join a cult? When did that happen?
Well, see, I started going to rainbow gatherings when I was about 16. They came to a national forest in Ohio, It was Lake Vesuvius. It was Wayne National Forest, and they don't really have a hierarchy. So a lot of people call it a cult. It is
Like
cultish for
a
sure.
hippie
It is a
thing.
hippie. It's a hippie movement. They get
Yeah.
together. The main thing is they have a nationals every year over the 4th of July for a week. Um, they come together only in national forests because it's the people's land. They do, they clean up, they micro trash, do all that. Everything's free. They cook for free for everybody. They have big drum circles, and people dance and play drums and tell stories, and they have like, everything sectioned off. They have a section, for kid village for the parents and stuff to keep the kids where it's away from, because there's no alcohol allowed in the woods, so they keep the alcohol at the front gate. So the front gate was kind of like, the place where a lot of people would hang out to do that, and then inside the gathering was usually fairly mild and safe, even though there would be anywhere from 10 to, I think the most was 20,000 people that was ever at one of the main gatherings. But yeah, and it was an experience. Like
Well,
it was definitely,
I have never heard of the Rainbow Gathering, so I started
yeah,
googling a little bit. It's pretty it's pretty crazy.
yeah, that's the idea.
I guess I can equate
Sign me
this
up.
to there was something called Teen Challenge back in the day, back in my neck of the woods. It was very religious, it was very cultish, but it was just a thing where people, they get together. This is crazy. Where is this held?
Well, that one, I think that looks like it might be Montana or
I mean, you're
uh
looking at a
Damn, that's
Oregon.
too
Yeah,
close to me.
yeah, I can't. Well, they have them. It's in a different spot every year, and they won't have it in the same spot more than 6 years. It has to be at least 6 years apart before they'll revisit a site to let it reheal. It's not a religious thing. There's no religion involved with it at all.
gotcha.
There's no hierarchy. There's no leaders. There's no anybody and the thing is usually in the national forest, you're supposed to sign a permit for anybody that has over 75 people like gathering in a national forest.
Right.
Well, we never sign any permits because we're not together. We're just a bunch of individuals that were camping, just happened to be there at the same time.
Yeah.
And so there was so many of us that they never would make us sign a permit. But we always cleaned everything up, and it would last. The gathering lasted like 4 or 5 days, but we would be there for 3 or 4 weeks because the
Jeez.
setup, like they build. I'm sure you'll see in some of the pictures, they have like big stages built. They have a place called Love and Ovens that would build mud ovens, just build ovens out of mud, and they'd bake pizzas and lasagnas all day and cakes, and then all these other kitchens. It's all vegetarian food that's served at Main Circle.
That's
Are the
Everybody
crazy.
gets.
Keebler JJ? Are the Keebler elves there baking cookies
No, the
in the
Keeblers have,
forest?
yeah, Keeblers have nothing to do with this one. Your back is safe. Your back
Gotcha.
Okay.
is safe. So
It's
yeah,
it seems like a hippie movement, like the
it is.
Grateful Dead.
It was started in 72 or 76 was the very first one in Colorado, and it's been
Okay.
going on every year. This is what they call the Nationals, and they have the Nationals over the 4th of July, and then they have regional gatherings where
Is
each
that
like area
is that
has their
Charlie
own.
Manson leaving? Oh no.
It looks
He
like
was
it a little
arrested
bit.
by then.
No, he wasn't.
No, I was gonna
I
say
don't
not
think
at
so.
this one. This one looks the New Mexico gathering maybe, or
So what's odd, like these rainbow gatherings, like so they're hippie in nature, right?
hmm
But like they're sober gathering, right? Am I getting that right?
no, they're not a sober gathering. They, like I
Oh, okay.
said,
I
they
just
in the
Oh,
woods. There's no alcohol allowed in the woods, and the hard drugs they're used. I mean, I never really seen. I'm sure there was some, but
yeah, I
it's
got you. I was just
mostly
wondering.
your hallucinogens and stuff
I
How
got
about
you.
is
weed? Was
This
weed prevalent?
everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
this is what you're looking at now is Bolivia, or
Okay,
Bosnia rather.
that's
Bosnia.
the
I'm sorry.
world gathering. Yeah, that's the world gathering.
Interesting.
So that's a little smaller. They have a world gathering. What they're doing right there, that's Main Circle. So the food is in the middle, that inner circle. They're circling up around the food,
Interesting.
Either that or it's the 4th of July. No, that's looks like they're feeding.
I
So
feel like I'm looking at Woodstock. Like,
We
Yeah.
it's
need the
like that.
military. When your
It's like
country has that, we have a whole secret military right there.
you're right.
yeah.
What
There's
is what is this? Is there a pole in the middle? Keep saying, are you dancing around a tree or something?
okay. Now that the pole is probably just a tree that happened to be there,
Okay, I'm just
and they
asking.
don't they don't cut any living trees down. They don't get all the firewood comes from dead wood or fell wood. They don't cut any live trees or anything down.
This is interesting.
There's a lot of that.
What? Wait. When you say there's a lot of that, what
Butts and
exactly
butt.
is that? Oh, look, I found a.
Well, that
I
looked like
see
it was
Jenny, not
mirrored.
Forrest.
There's a lot of that looks like it's mirrored. I can't tell if that's the same dude, but there's
Well,
there's a lot of nudity.
Oh,
there was a penis involved.
Yeah,
Um,
it's clothing optional.
all right.
That's
I
for
mean,
sure.
listen, I have no
Yeah,
problem with any of it. I love it.
Sign
and
me off.
is
it's
this where you picked up the gemstone and the gemology that became
no, I
your
I
that became
I
your
had
hobby?
started. I started the gemology, and my first show was in '93. So that
Okay,
would be 3 years before I met them. I started that with my uncle. Now
okay.
this group, they have a big trade circle that there's yeah, there he is. That's Grandpa Woodstock.
I like it.
I don't know
Oh
if you all
yeah.
are familiar with a man named Vermin Supreme. He used to be like a political kind of farcity figure. He wore a rubber boot on his head and like tried to run for Congress. He ran for a position in something in
I
Vermont, I
remember
think it
him,
was. Okay, well,
Isn't that
he's a big member of the Rainbow family. He's always at the Rainbow family gatherings.
isn't
and
that
that
Bernie
That's
Sanders who does
and that
that?
would be
No,
him
no.
right
that would
there.
be
Yeah.
him right there. Yep,
There
that's
he
Oh,
Vermin
is.
hey.
Supreme.
Oh.
My
So
man,
he is,
Oh.
I like the boot on his head.
Is
That's
that
cool.
yeah, that
looks like one of those old Indian chiefs, like Standing Crow or
yeah,
Running
boot on
Buffalo.
head.
Boot on
Ver-
head.
Vermin Love
Yeah,
Supreme is an American performance artist and activist who has run a novelty candidate in various local states. Yeah, I like him. I love this stuff. I just missed the Grateful Dead generation and all that stuff. I would have been a Deadhead. I saw a Dead in '94 in Philly, but like I was a kid. But
that'd have been
I would have definitely generate or moved towards that mindset, that Deadhead
yeah.
mindset, because I
We
was
traveled a lot. Yeah,
I
we've
could
seen
just
a lot of shows. That
You've
'94
seen
would
a
have been
lot.
Jerry's last year. That would have
yep.
been his last year.
Yep.
So
It
that
wasn't 94.
Chicago show.
94 is when he died. I
Yeah.
saw him in
Yeah, that
Springfield
was
92, I think.
'92.
I was like 12, and I remember I was tripping on acid, and I lit a cigarette, and it was like a mile long. I was like, "Holy shit! Oh my god!"
Yeah,
So
there was a lot of that.
yeah, take us through, like, you backpacked across the country, you
I did.
hitchhiked. I'm not good at hitchhiking. I tried that once. Tell us what that's like. I mean, where are you getting your next meal from? Where are you going to the bathroom? Like,
Hmm.
what?
Next meal was pretty easy. You people always want to kick you down food.
True.
So if I've got a backpack on, like I would have my 75-liter backpack on or whatever, and I'd just go sit outside of a fast food restaurant. And somebody would, after about 15-20 minutes, they'd throw me a bag of burgers, and I'd be back on my way.
That'll do it.
Bathroom, you
Wow.
just stop off at whatever rest area wherever you're at. It took me I hitchhiked out here. I stopped in Sedona the final time because I've been hitchhiking for since before I came out here. I
Mm,
would hitchhike just around to the shows on the East Coast. But when I came out here, it took me probably a month and a half to get out here. And on my way out here, my mother died,
mm.
just kind of out of the blue when I was in Arizona, and I never even went back. I just kept going. I figured, it's she's about all the family I got left, so there's no reason in going home just to have to. I mean, she wouldn't want me to make the trip back just to have to come back and try to start all over. So
Yeah.
it was probably 9 months before I went home after that. I mean, I got a big family, but we were never really like, I'm not, I got my wife and my daughter here. I brought them out after I was out here about a year and a half after I hitchhiked here, and it's hitchhiking ain't bad. It's not like people think it is. No, I mean it's safer for some than others. Like I was, I'm kind of a burly dude.
Hmm.
I wear a patchwork skirt, look kind of odd, so it's
Yeah.
I'm not somebody that is easily approachable. Until they
I'd
get to
be
know
afraid
me, but
somebody trying
no,
me. Who
I
would touch my pee? You know?
there's a
no.
there yeah
Michael, where's the
there's
bell?
a
Where's the
there's a
bell?
short. I got the bell right here.
There you
Bell's
go.
always around. Here it is. Hold on.
He's-
Mike has his own bell
yeah,
when he's inappropriate.
yeah. And when he
Since
gets
we're
really bad, he's gonna get the. There you go. He gets the
this is
horn.
since we're sharing stories. This is my
So
yeah,
JJ,
go ahead.
the point of the comeback is you're treading water, you're going, and you know your family has been devastated. You obviously have trauma from your childhood being on the wrong side of the drug business. When does
Hmm.
it become the idea to say, let me do this legit under California law and become rich? That's I mean, that's unbelievable.
It
Yeah,
was, the money thing was always a driving factor, but
sure.
we had a really close friend of mine and one of our best customers, and somebody that I had grew up with. He was murdered, um, shot in the back of the head, put in the trunk of his car, and set on fire
Jeez.
in
Oof.
2005.
That's sending a
Um,
message.
Yeah.
yeah, Robert Salmons. They never did solve it, and they tried to implement me and my partner in it and it took them a year. They had turned the case over to the Kentucky State Police. They had the officer on it, and then they changed officers. That officer retired, and they gave it to a new guy. And I guess it was just when they gave it to that new guy that they decided to run the phone records for some reason. And back
Jeez.
then, like, we didn't think about, this was before Edward Snowden and everybody thought they were being
Yeah.
Right.
listened to and
Yeah.
whatever. But they traced the number and seen that he had called our phone, but we never did do business after dark. So once it hit dark, no matter what time of year or whatever, like, we stopped. So we didn't do anything after dark. And he called at like 10 o'clock. So neither one of us answered. Like, we wouldn't answer our phones because we just never did. That was just the policy. We just didn't do
Mhm.
anything after dark. And once the cops, finally found out that we wasn't the ones responsible, they theorized that they were probably trying to get us to bring them more
Yeah.
so that they could get it from us and do the same thing to us that they did to him. And at
Jeez.
that point, I had already realized that, my days there were numbered. Like, the cops were already, because I was off the radar until then. And
Right.
by
Mhm.
that point, I was already out of the boys' home. I'd been, heavy into it. Like, we were making good money.
Yep.
I had
Mhm.
a house, car. I mean, I had everything, and I literally packed a backpack and was like, "All right, if I'm gonna do this, like, 'cause I don't know how to do nothing else. Like, I'll be honest with you, like, I've had some businesses and done well at businesses, but it's always been my own stuff and my own way, and I wouldn't know how to work a regular job if I had to. So I figured if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do it. So I just packed up and hitched out here, and I got on. I don't know if y'all have seen that A&E or the Netflix documentary Murder Mountain
Yes, it did.
about.
Yeah.
Well,
Yep.
that was my first job out here, was working on Murder Mountain.
No shit.
Um,
Great.
That was
yeah, it
scary. It was very. You think like weed or say marijuana and is legal in Canada, and watching it, it's like holy shit! Like it was cutthroat. Like you think it was like
Yeah.
South America,
Yeah.
to the
hmm
extent of the violence,
All right.
and
yeah,
and the guys that try to go legal, they just almost get shut down, right? By the
they did.
yeah, yeah.
Like, most of the people I know, that because I didn't go legal right away. Like, I'd been in this business long enough. I knew business well enough. Like, I took a little bit of college, dropped out because it was eating into my money. So, like, I couldn't make money while I was at college. So it was one or the other. And my main addiction was money.
Mm. A
So,
lot of
Ain't
people
nothing
now.
wrong with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
And so we just decided to go ahead, and my wife was, back home. She's from Ohio, right across the bridge from where I lived in Kentucky. And they stayed there for a year and a half. And then they came out in the van, and we lived in the van for a while up north. Stayed a little farther, but she hates the cold weather, the cloudiness, and stuff like that. So we were right
Mm.
on the ocean in Fort Bragg, and then we came down here to Lake County. It's Clear Lake. It's the largest natural lake in California,
Nice.
and it just so happens that this is the perfect condition for growing. And I was able to take off. I mean, it didn't take long at all before we acquired this place, and then just kept building on top of it. And then I developed a pretty good reputation for making concentrates, and
Wow.
we've actually sold several of our. And I'm a breeder too. We made our own strains, and I've sold. I mean, there's a lot of our stuff in the dispensaries under different names now that people have bought off us and claimed
Yeah.
as their own. And a lot of our recipes that are in there, and it's we sold out earlier this year everything but this property that I'm on, and it's just a small one,
JJ,
just to kind of.
I speak a lot towards weed being illegal. My entire adult life was getting weed. Does it smell? Does the car smell? Is that a cop behind me? And now all of a sudden,
Mhm.
my kids go to a dispensary and get it, legally in New Jersey. So like,
So
it's crazy to me how it's evolved. I mean, I was like I was raising a family, but doing a drug deal every night. So
Mhm.
it
yep,
was just,
I went to
it's
jail for
we.
possession. Yeah, in Kentucky, I had like a joint and a couple of pairs of roach clips on me.
Yeah.
And this
So
was the
Same as me.
day I got, yeah, the day I got let out of the boys' home. It was the same exact day.
it's
And then
crazy.
I ended up having to do
Nice.
7 more days. And that
Nice.
was my first time, my first stretch as an adult. I did 7 days right after the boys' home. So,
Jail is
but
terrible, isn't
yeah,
it,
they
Mike?
don't.
So, from
Uh,
being on both sides of it, JJ, and having your own addiction problems with heroin and opiates and everything that took you down that road, is marijuana, is cannabis a gateway to heroin? I say absolutely not. I
Not for
I've
me.
been pro weed my whole life. It's a miracle drug for a lot
Yeah.
of reasons, and
Mhm.
we all know.
It's a gateway when it's set in the framework of being a gateway. When it's legal, when the next thing is ecstasy, heroin, cocaine,
Mhm.
whatever. When it's set in that framework. But when you take it out of that and make it a legal thing, and I don't think it's a gateway drug anymore. I think the gateway drug thing was a frame of mind. All right, I did
Mhm.
this drug. Now I can do the next one because I didn't die when I did that one. So now I'll
Yeah.
try cocaine. That was awesome. I'll do that again.
It's
Mhm.
the addictive personality that is the gateway.
Right.
And
Right.
it's a setting issue as well. Like you get in those settings where you're dealing with illegal drug deals, illegal marijuana. It just so happens that a lot of marijuana dealers sell other things, and you have other
Right.
products there, so it can turn into that. But I don't think that it's the cannabis that leads to that. I think it's
I
the
agree.
atmosphere that you're in, the people that you surround yourself with. Like out here, once I got off the methadone, and I decided to get off the methadone because I do the gym shows every year. I don't like the cold weather. I don't like the rain. So
Yeah.
once it starts to get cold, I head down to Arizona to the gym shows, and I would start going down there, and I would run out of methadone like almost because I'm down there for 5 months. I
Yeah.
would be down there for a long time. So, I'd have to buy a lot of it to get me through. And then one day I was just like, I'm done. Like I did drink a little bit. I smoked cigarettes and I did methadone,
Mhm.
and I quit it all within the span of a week. And now it took more than a week to get myself right. Like
Yeah, of
the
course.
Yeah.
methadone, it actually took me a couple of months to get
But
my head together to where I felt like I could actually be around people in public,
I
because
know.
and that's
Yeah.
that's where the weed come in to really help. Was I couldn't go to a doctor and just tell them, like, hey, which I mean, I did end up going to the hospital one time because I thought that I was having a heart attack or a stroke or something. I didn't know what was going on. It turns out that I was just having panic
Panic
attacks,
attacks.
which
Yeah.
made me feel
Mhm.
like
Right.
a real dip. I was like, oh, panic attacks, great. Let me the hell out of
You
here.
went
That's
through
what I
that,
Yeah.
did.
Tim, when you
Oh
came
yeah.
down.
Yeah. Sure. Sure.
Mhm.
I still struggle
Uh-huh.
with all that. All that. I still
I
struggle
did
with it.
too.
Like I can have. Actually, last week I wasn't feeling whatever. I can have days of panic attacks where it's nonstop dread. It's just this feeling of dread, and I have to remind myself that I'm blessed and life is good, and make a gratitude list, all
Yes.
that stuff. But at the same time, it's inherent. I can't turn it off. I can't turn it on. It just happens, and it's severe anxiety. And I know it's stuff that's not going to happen.
Somebody mentioned my
thoughts.
ex-wife. I had the same thing. Swear.
So so we
Thank you.
I just I commend you for dumping that methadone. I tried that, and like I don't know, had they give you take homes, or were you buying it off the street? You're buying it
I
off the
was
street,
buying it
right?
off streets. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
buying it actually buying it off a doctor.
Okay, well
Um,
that checks out.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
I bought it off a doctor at the clinic that I knew that was buying product off me,
People are
and
unbelievable. It's just
yeah,
that
and he
business.
would get it to me cheap, and I would buy massive amounts of it,
Hmm.
the
Yeah.
liquid and the wafers, and then
The methadone is handcuffs. It's liquid handcuffs, we call it. You
yeah,
can't go anywhere. You can't do anything. You need to get take homes. The whole process of going to the methadone clinic every day, seeing them
mhm,
getting dosed, it's really ridiculous. Now
Well,
there's
they
so.
say some of the best dope to buy is in the methadone line. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Yep. But first day I went to the methadone clinic. I went in. I didn't give 'em any money. They gave me 30 milligrams of methadone, and then I bought heroin off somebody in the parking lot. I'm like, this is great. I'm like, I got it all figured out now. So like, I just thought methadone would be a good idea to try. In my drug career, not a great idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, it took months. Like you said, it took months to get my body right, to get my head on right. I'm on Suboxone now, just because I'm a mess. I have to
yeah,
address what's wrong with me, and
absolutely,
it's not an addiction, it's a Tim problem. We all have some reason that we self-medicated to begin with, and
yeah,
so to each their own at this point. So I it's you're a great story of, like, it's not all about money. It's
mhm,
just about living a decent life, and you know
exactly,
what, and I know that you do now, and that you run this business, and you do something that you love. It's just it's a testament. Our people need to hear this kind of stuff for sure.
He took
yeah,
a drug dealing history, a traumatic childhood, turned into a businessman in where it's legal, along with being part botanist, part chemist, part evolutionary mix champion, and has his own trademarks and registered trademarks in the business. But he never forgot where he came from.
Hmm.
But he talk about your comeback. He
No
gives
kidding.
back all the time, and he's raw and he's real. And I'm proud to call him my friend. That's JJ.
We're proud to call him our friend now. That's what we do.
Yeah.
We
and
accumulate friends in this
that's
world.
exactly
And
right.
Mike was one of the original hosts of this show. Helped get it off the ground. And
Nice.
he played a huge part. The
What were we thinking?
I have no idea. I'm not even driving the bus anymore. It's just going. I
It's
come
just on
on.
autopilot most
It's
days.
just like, yeah. It's just Mike was we do this to give back. I won't take money. I won't. I mean, we're very conscious about making this venture pure, that we're doing
Yeah,
it the right way and for the right reasons. And so far, I've given it up to God. If you want this to do so, if you want it to stop tomorrow, stop it tomorrow. It's been a year and a half and 150 episodes, and like, this is like what
that's
I do
awesome.
now. So it's like, and like you said, you don't know much else. Like, I know graphics and stuff, but what I really know is drugs. And I
Yeah,
can I can convey a message that I think helps people. Jim, Kaisa, Will, all of us. Mike came in as a non-addict, as just a normal psychopath, and he came in, and he was our co-host. He was awesome. It's just this is what it's about. And we're all gonna die soon, so let's just try and make the best of it while we're here.
Yeah,
that's
play
Um,
it.
nice. Just play nice.
Try
That's all we
try to
ask.
give back as much as possible, and that's what it's about for me. Is I always wanted to be able, like, I would see people, you know, being the philanthropist. I'm tongue tied. The
Philanthropist, yeah,
philanthropy, yeah. But
philanthropy.
Yeah,
just giving
that's
back
a
so
good
much,
word.
and
Yeah.
that's what we do. On the, like, I've had a YouTube channel for 9 years now. I haven't posted on it in multiple years, and it's still growing. It's small, but it had enough good information about growing on it that people still reference it today. I
Cool.
get questions on it all the time. It still
Nice.
gains followers and stuff. So I still try to answer all the questions that come across it. just, and I did that, there was no way I would ever be able to monetize that. And I knew it, because it's literally nothing but just, showing one of my fields and just talking about the plants and talking about how to feed them and how to grow them and what to do. And
Yeah.
like the benefits of each, because each terpene has a different benefit and helps, a lot with nerves. Like some people like me that have the panic attacks, like I can't, smoke certain kinds. And I don't smoke a lot anymore. I used to smoke heavily. Um, Now I may go through, a couple grams every few days.
Okay.
It's not a lot, but I was down to, we were smoking like 5 or 6 grams of oil a day,
Yeah.
like myself. But,
Yep.
I learned I was using that as a crutch as well, I do believe. So I cut way back on that
Well,
just
JJ, we talk all the
because,
time about replacing one addiction for another.
yeah,
We'll stop heroin, stop all that, but then we'll be addicted to girls or video games or TV or
Mhm.
whatever it is. Um, and then there's those instances where the switch isn't a bad thing, but it's still an addiction. Like maybe you're a workaholic when you get clean. That's good. You make money, but like it's still too much of anything. Too
yeah,
much of anything is a bad thing. And
Mhm.
it's all about moderation. And I think you preach a good message of how moderation and coming back from this stuff can listen. I could smoke all day long, and I would just be normal. I wouldn't even be stoned
hmm
anymore. So it's just like it's one of those things where like it's cool that it's legal now. I'm glad it's legal now. It's just, or for the most part, it's a necessity. I'll tell you what, if this shit was legal for the last 50 years, we probably wouldn't have the opiate epidemic. We wouldn't
probably
have these
not.
Mhm. That's
problems,
right.
a drug is a drug is a drug, whatever. What does it do to you? Are you getting a DUI and killing people when you're smoking and driving? No.
No.
So it's one of those things where we're very careful of. I mean, we all do AA and all that stuff, but
Yeah.
we're very careful about the message that we send across, but we're also very real. We're not gonna change ourselves for anybody else. We're gonna remain out what we believe in, and we believe in you can't dabble anymore. There is no more
Mm-mm.
dabbling.
No.
Fentanyl is in everything.
everywhere.
That
I'm
stuff
gonna die.
is, yeah, it's killed so many of my friends. It's not even funny. Like it's just, I mean, I finally had to, like, Facebook was my original platform
Yeah,
where I did my gems and minerals and we had all of our stuff at. And I finally just stopped going on to Facebook because it was nothing but just bad news every day. Like there was
yeah,
just somebody else every day. They were like, hey, so and so passed. And when one of them, the guys that was like my brother passed, I was just like, okay, I'm done with this. I can't.
yeah,
And that's when I started
You
on
know,
TikTok.
when I knew JJ and I were going to be friends is, we already heard about him leaving, getting pinched for some weed and a couple roaches, takes his backpack. He was under investigation for a heinous crime and gets out there, becomes this entrepreneur and philanthropist, but he still has the backpack he left with. And that's the kind of guy he is.
yeah. He
Isn't that
strikes
right,
me as that
JJ?
kind of guy.
It's
I like
sitting
him.
right
Yeah.
over there. Yep, for
Good in
sure.
See
my
that?
book. Good in
I
my
See
book.
that?
I live a
No matter
modest
how big you
life.
get.
And
Hmm.
that's
Yeah,
what it seems like. It seems like you live a modest life, but you're
I
happy
do.
with we as addicts we just want everything all at once,
Oh
instant
Hmm.
yeah.
gratification. What I've learned is patience and just shutting
Yep.
your mouth a little bit, and just letting things happen, not being so reactive to things. And that's the gift that sobriety's given me. I'm still nuts. I'm still reactive, but I can think, I can process it better. I can act better, be a better person, and
Yeah. I never
people.
did the AA, and I kind of regretted it until I met the man that I work with now. Like I'm retired from, all the everything else. I still do one gym show a year, but I do the TikTok thing now, and I'm a manager at an agency.
Cool.
And I did that just out of volunteer. Like I don't get nothing, from that or anything. I believe in what the guy who runs the business, I believe in his business model. He cares,
Yeah.
he gives back, he
Hmm.
he helps. I mean, Jeff's one of the greatest dudes that I've really met
Yeah.
that, kind of
I've been
mentored,
fortunate.
like, and I was lucky enough to know, and like I said, I've been on social media since 2013, I think. So, live streaming since then anyway. And like, I just knew, when he started the live agency, it was something I wanted to be a part of. So, I spend probably 100 hours a week on that app, which is
Jeez.
still an addiction, but
Mm-hmm. Yep.
it's
Yeah.
I'm
At
what
least
I'm what
you're
we call the crash test dummy for our
yeah.
group. Like I test everything and make sure what we can and can't say, because everything, today's kind of, you got to be careful on certain platforms what you say, what you don't
Well,
say, and stuff
we
like
just got
that.
banned on Facebook
Mm.
for what was it, Jim? Was it nothing?
No, we were discussing
It was nothing.
Cretan. No,
Kratom. We're
Kratom.
talking about Kratom. And I put a short out and I put a graphic and it said like Kratom is good, and it was just a joke
Yeah.
like we've been doing for a year and a half, and their image recognition software grabbed it and just shut us down. And like we're coming back, it's fine. But like this is the craziness. I'm watching The Boys the other day on Amazon Prime, and I see a graphic that I made back in 2005 being used in the stadium on the scoreboard. I'll show you. I'm sitting here watching the show. I'm like, that's my graphic. Nobody paid me for that, but I get kicked off Facebook for saying Kratom. So if you watch closely, that graphic right there on the screen that's being played is something
Oh,
I
yeah.
created, and I created for a team, and somehow it came to this production or whatever. But you'll see, I'll go quickly over to my computer, and that's the
Yeah, you
actual
can.
graphic. That's mine. So they stole that from
Oh,
me,
That,
that's
but I get kicked off of Facebook because so just crazy. So anyway, that's just my point. What we did, we got banned for, I don't know, we got a penalty for saying the word
Yeah,
kratom or something.
we're still in the box. Like
We're still in the
yeah,
penalty box, yeah.
kratom's. Yeah, it's one of
we feel
those like
shame and we get free. Yeah.
So stupid
yeah,
though. I mean, I
it
see
is. It's
boobs
ridiculous.
and
Full
half
on
naked
everything
women,
on there.
right?
Yeah,
I
it's
got in
Mhm.
trouble for complaining on TikTok about fairies.
That'll
You know,
do
the
it.
people
yeah.
Mhm.
That
that
fairy
like to
you.
dress in costumes.
The
Oh, that
what?
fairy.
Furries.
People that like to
Oh, that yes,
fornicate
yes.
in costumes.
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
Fairies.
So you're
Cosplay or whatever it is.
yeah.
Yeah, you know how you
Yeah.
said come back, but back
Mm-hmm.
come,
My
whatever.
God. Oh
Right.
Jesus Christ, Mike. Can't have nice things. This is why we can't have nice things. Where's
We
the
can't
bill?
have nothing.
Actually, it's been so bad. I dropped the bill. And here's the bill. Found it. All
There
right.
you go.
So
This is why I picked Mike for my team, because I
There
yeah,
knew
you,
that
he's
it makes
Exactly.
there
sense.
wouldn't be nobody else on the team that would be able to
He knew.
handle him.
you
So
got that
He
right.
knew.
He knew.
It's
He's
like
teaching me everything.
it's like that
JJ's been
uncle we
very
all
good to
talk
me so
about.
far. He's been very good to me so far in my new exploit, true crime, and yeah, some humor and
Mike
some healthy healing. Are
Mike
some of
Oxley
my
out there.
yeah.
I love it.
That's
Let's go
me.
around real quick. We'd like to do this.
Alrighty.
We do like to share two positive things that happened to you this week and one thing you're grateful for. We're gonna start with Jimmy Leibel. Jimmy, what are two positives and
Alrighty.
one
Two
great?
paws. Well, that's easy peasy. Two paws. Well, first of all, Kaiser was here.
Mhm.
And she got to try poutine, and she had a little bit of bannock, and got to, and just grateful for that, having the people I've met in my recovery,
Yeah.
and
You're all
it
good
just
people.
continues, and it's all because of that obsession has left, and I just live a better life. But I was in recovery, but now no, I was sober. I was in
Sober, yeah.
sobriety, but recovery is totally different. Oh yeah, that was hilarious. Lips that touch liquor should not touch ours. And if you look at the ladies that are depicted, well, shit, that would make you want to drink those
No
old
kidding.
wearing Ukrainian broads in the 20s.
Looks like the cheers.
Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name.
Yeah.
So
that was them.
very interesting. So you guys had a great time. Who took the picture? If you're in there and Will's in there,
I got really long arms. Really long arms.
Yeah, our girl Tysa went 1,700 miles north to spread the message of recovery, and Jim took really good care of her.
Yeah.
We know
the queen is on the right, not on the left.
I know.
We're behind.
she had a great time. We had a great time following it. It was awesome. We love seeing this kind of stuff happen.
Don't you have wasn't she not dancing, I believe?
I think she might have been dancing.
I believe she
Oh
was.
no, she's gonna kill us.
Yeah, and
Oh,
Ric Flair
that's Elaine.
She is gonna kill us.
Oh yeah, and then Ric Flair's gonna come in. There he is.
He loves recovery.
Oh yeah.
Ah, Get me some more recovery. Oh, she didn't like that, Jim. You got her. You got her. What a mess up north. All right, JJ, what are two things you're grateful for, and one or two positive things that happened to you this week, and one thing you're grateful for?
Well, the one thing I'm grateful for is absolutely my wife, who without her, I would still be probably laying in a gutter somewhere without the motivation to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the two the two things or the two positives this week, we did have one of our best weeks ever on the team on TikTok,
There you go.
and we were able to raise $500 today for a girl in Ukraine doing a positivity battle who was still stuck in Ukraine. She was 22, had two kids, and we raised $500 for her today. So
Atta boy.
Right
I
on.
love that.
That's-
You're putting us to shame. I'm proud of you. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for your service for sure. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Mike, what are two things? Your two positive things happened to you this week. One thing you're grateful for.
Two positives this week was one, it was a positive to see the Phillies clinch the NL East and to be able to spend that with my mother.
There you go.
And
Oh, good.
Go
another
Phils.
positive thing would be that JJ, the man next to me, is positive that he took me onto his personal team in the TikTok journey.
Yeah,
But I am
baby.
grateful for my wife and all she puts up with. You guys
You
can
should
only
be.
imagine it.
You
America,
should be.
you can only imagine what she deals with, and I love her.
She's got a place in heaven because she's gone through
April is
hell.
She
a
does.
saint for sure. So that's great.
Hmm.
Two
Yep.
positive things that happened to me this week. I just seeing Kaisa go up north and do all that. I felt like I was a part of that. I felt like I was involved in that, and it was a powerful thing. It spanned borders. I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for my kids. I have great kids. They're not close to me, but they're closer to me than they've ever been. So that's
Mm-hmm.
important. And
Yes.
that's about it. So we read a little just for today.
But wait,
Jimmy.
I'm also grateful
Oh,
that
please,
the
yes.
rainbow people do a lot of nude stuff.
The rainbow people are something
Oh,
else.
I'm
We
going
might do
ass
a
to ass. Yeah.
we may do an
Hey.
entire episode on that. I'm
Oh,
I
okay.
can bring a
very
lot of
Okay.
them on. I got a bunch
Okay.
of them. They're some of my
Tim,
friends.
I'd love
Tim,
to
you
see
got
it.
dibs on Will.
I do. I did on Will.
In the hot
Yeah,
tub.
the rainbow.
About time y'all saw the light and hired a great kid, Dynamite!
Our boy JJ joins us. It was just awesome. Just a great message. Rags to riches, that whole thing. But it's a message that needs to get out there that doesn't matter where you're at, how far down the scale you've gone. A comeback is possible, and JJ's living proof. So JJ, thank you for
Thank you
for coming on with us.
Thank you all for having me. I sure do appreciate it. And we
For
do
sh-
recover.
We do
Yes, we
recover.
do.
Jimmy,
Do
can
recover,
you
JJ.
Do some
can you
dizzling?
yeah, can you do the
Okay, do
devotional?
it slow, man. Do it
Hold
slow.
on, I'm coming. All right, here we go. Ready?
Just for the
Yeah.
dizzle, kiddies. Okay, just for today. Prayers. Prayers take practice. And we should remind ourselves, that
Already,
skilled
huh?
people were once born with their skills. Not born with their skills. Yeah, go slow. Go slower.
I got you. That's from the basic text, page 46, page
Yeah, that too.
275.
Thank you. Many of us came into recovery. Okay, prayer. No, many of us came into recovery with no experience in prayer and worried about not knowing the right words.
Mhm.
Some of us remembered the words we'd learned in childhood, but weren't sure we believed in those words anymore. Whatever our background, in recovery, we struggle to find words that spoke truly from our hearts.
Ridiculous.
Often the first prayer we attempted is a simple request to our higher power, asking him for help in staying clean each day. We may ask help, for guidance and courage, or simply pray for knowledge of God's will for us and the power to carry that out. If we found ourselves stumbling in our prayers, we may ask others to share with us on how they learned to pray. No matter whether we prayed in need or to pray in joy, the important thing is to keep us making the effort. Our prayers will be shaped by our experience with the 12 steps and our personal understanding of a higher power. Our relationship with that higher power develops, we become more comfortable with prayer In time, prayer becomes a source of strength and comfort. We seek that source often and willing. Just for today, I know that prayer can be simple. I will start where I am and practice. No little shenanigans at the end. Not just for the dizzle, kiddles.
Not tonight. Not tonight. No shenanigans at the end.
No GMO on that one.
Thank you,
Sugar-free.
everybody, for your support. We're back on Wednesday, and we just got to say thank you to JJ and Mike again. Mike, thanks for doing the legwork out there. You're like a scout. You're like a fucking trash scout, pulling people in for us.
Checks in the mail.
Well, we love you. Jay, thank you for coming on. We appreciate
Thank
it.
y'all for having me.
We'll have you on soon again.
Right
Hey,
on.
I would love to. Anytime.
See you, boy.
You stay classy, San Diego.